I was going to say something witty and cutting and brutal before I finished you off. But fuck it. Soの名はエレン・イエーガー。
What's up guys, Uncle Teapot here, and welcome back to the production. Now, I'm gonna level with you guys. You've already heard me write, or more so talk about video discussions, character analysis, and overall just, generally, you've seen me put out a Yap content before, or a Yap video before, so no, what I'm about to talk about isn't necessarily out of the ordinary, but I feel like it is for me personally, because this is the first time I'm going to actually be actively trying to get you into something. This is not just a measly same old character analysis, or something like, this is why I think this thing is good. No, despite the title of this video, I'm going to deliberately be forcing my opinions onto you, and I will try to get you to watch this movie from 1, a clear-minded, and 2, an open perspective. Now, because this is the first video where it's more than just me yapping, but trying to entice and convince you to indulge in this media or justify the means of its existence, we're going to be doing things a little differently. First, I'm going to start off with a few points that are made, or a few things that are said about this movie, and I'm going to try to take those statements and feelings down a peg, because a lot of the stuff I've heard about this movie are either downright fucking wrong, the opinions are abysmal, or it's just straight up not being given as much leeway as other movies in this series. Hell, I'm pretty sure as of right now, not the time of me, putting the video out, but the time of me recording this and editing it, I'm the only person other than one other friend who's seen this shit. After that, I'm going to be tackling a few things I think makes the movie work, such as the culmination between the characters and the writing, and just simply put how I feel about the movie, how it makes my little brain work. A lot of people are calling this movie the best thing since Endgame, or this is Marvel's major comeback. Now, I will go ahead and tell you, there are going to be kind of, or maybe a lot in this video. And maybe this is kind of on me, but I just feel like personally, I literally cannot talk about this movie without spoiling it. Hell, Marvel is literally spoiling some of it themselves, to some degree, given the fact that the title of this shit has changed within a week of the movie being released. They literally changed the entire title. Here's your fair warning right now. If you don't want to be spoiled anything on the Thunderbolts movie, then just leave the video, and after you watch the movie, come back and watch the video. So like I said, first I'm going to start off with the points that are made against this movie, or some of the statements that have been said by people less willing to see the movie. And surprisingly enough, there are a few, so please bear with me. Like I said, this might end up being quite a long video. There's going to be a lot in this shit, so get ready, buckle up. Now, with all of that out of the way, the number one thing I've been hearing is the fact that people don't really know a lot about these characters. Now, I just want to take you down a little journey, down the MCU timeline of our cast, if you will, because while yes, not knowing a character at all is a valid point to have, what's not valid is that you don't educate yourself or you don't take the time, or rather you haven't taken the time to educate yourself on these characters, their characterization, so it diminishes your perspective of these characters. This is a major problem with people like John Walker and Yelena specifically, but I'll get to that. I'm going to try to make this all make sense. For me to do this, I kind of have to get into the origin of the characters first though. So, I'm not going to be focusing on literally every character of the movie. Half of these niggas, you already know their origin. Like, Bucky, for example. You already know who that guy is. Like, come on, I don't need to explain it. But let's just start off with Yelena. Yelena Belova is a girl who was raised and trained very much like Black Widow. She was in the Red Room, trained and groomed to be a killing machine since she was very, very young. After she was stolen from her family, which is that of the Red Guardian and Natasha. After her sister, aka Natasha, aka Black Widow, finally found her, she and the Black Widow helped the Red Guardian escape from prison, and by the end of the movie, they both split up, going their separate ways, leading up to this movie, where she works for Val in some type of shadow ops capacity. Now, the next character I want to start with is John Walker, and man, I got kind of a lot to say about John Walker, because some of the things that are said about this nigga, it's actually abysmal. He was introduced during the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, and after witnessing his partner die in the heat of battle, he did the most unforgivable thing ever by mutilating the shield of Captain America and killing a man, a part of the enemy group, in broad daylight. This ends up leading to his dishonorable discharge from all government occupancies, and since then, he's faced endless backlash for what he's done. He was also stripped of the Captain America shield and the title of Captain America itself, if that wasn't already clear to begin with. He carries a lot of shame and is somewhat unstable because of the dose of super serum that he had, but at the end of the day, he's just a broken man trying to do the right thing for the wrong reasons. The Red Guardian is very similar to Isaiah Bradley. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but yeah. He was introduced in the Black Widow movie, obviously, given the fact that he's Natasha and Yelena's father. The Red Guardian was essentially supposed to be a test subject, that of the Russian government. They tried an attempt to create and have their own Captain America for the Soviet Union. To cut to the chase, things went bad. I mean, the experiment still turned out good. He still got the super soldier serum, but at the end of the day, things just went bad. His family was stolen from him, along with him getting thrown in prison, and by the end of the Black Widow movie, he's saved by both of his daughters. And now let's take a look at Ghost. Ghost was introduced during the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, the second installment for these Ant-Man movies. She was perceived to be the main villain of the movie, as she was a child subjugated to a quantum experiment that had gone wrong. Since then, she's only been able to live inside of a lab without her basically phasing out of existence on an atomic level. Although this is pretty bad, with age came wisdom though, and eventually a suit was developed for her to be able to withstand the particle disruption, allowing her to control her condition like a power or ability, hence her powers. With basically no one to call family or nowhere to go, she kind of works similarly in terms of Yelena, in the case of being mostly if not completely alone and working for Val in some kind of shadow ops capacity. Now let's focus on Bob / Sentry / the Void. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of it's one character. I'm just gonna throw all three of them in it. It's literally just him. Anyways, Bob is a broken and sad man. He's been dealing with depression since he was younger on accounts of his mental abuse and his mother being beaten by his father. When he got older, he was just barely able to slip through middle school before he dropped out of high school. Pretty sure he dropped out in his freshman year due to his negative and shitty down spiral of life. He was addicted to different drugs, and as such, he came across the Sentry program, looking for new drugs in Southeast Asia, I believe he said. He was able to stumble across the Sentry project, which was advertised as a procedure which could make you into a better person. Basically, it makes the current you a better version of you. Wanting to do anything for himself at this point, Bob partook into the program, and this is what leads to him becoming the makeshift hero of the Sentry. As we later find out, the procedure he underwent was essentially a hoax made by Val herself in order to obtain the perfect being. It's like the super soldier serum, but times a million. It literally says that in the comics. Given he had a horrible and rocky negative start prior to taking the procedure though, Bob develops a third personification, which is known as the Void, an entity of darkness, shame, negativity, regret, sadness, and depression. Basically all of the worst things about Bob culminating into one sentient being. This is the Void, whom is also the main antagonist of the film. So now that we have all the origins of these characters out of the way, the point of me saying all of this is to basically say it's unfair to say that you don't know these characters or you don't know anything about them if you haven't seen the media that they were introduced into. It's generally not a fair assessment. Obviously, you're going to feel that way about them if you didn't even bother watching half of these installments, let alone remembering the characters themselves. Ant-Man and the Wasp, that's by all means a genuine MCU movie that's actually important to the timeline. Like, yeah, maybe you felt like the Black Widow movie wasn't relevant because she already died before that movie even got fucking released. But if you were an actual MCU fan during the Infinity Saga, you'll more than likely watch Ant-Man 2, because that's literally the explanation as to how Scott got trapped in the quantum realm. And I bet even then, even if you did watch that movie, half of you guys probably do not remember Ghost as a character. Hell, I didn't even remember her until she was rolled back around into this movie. But that's kind of my whole point though, in terms of that argument specifically, where people will say, oh, I don't know anything about these characters. I don't want to go see the movie about a bunch of people I don't know. Isn't that kind of unfair for this movie? It's a movie centered around and made up of the most, and I say this slightly, but some of the most forgettable and low-life Marvel characters in the entire universe or a bunch. And this is not a coincidence. They purposely draw upon all of these outcasts of characters to form this one really good and really solid team, as well as a plot. It is literally a Marvel movie about the outcasts and societal rejects of Marvel forming together and becoming a team. Who the fuck wouldn't want to watch that? These characters have appeared in the Marvel Cinematic Universe already. It's just that they are introduced in movies you probably did not watch, or movies you probably don't remember. Or hell, some of them were even introduced during TV shows that I know for a fact most of you niggas did not watch. Falcon and the Winter fucking Soldier. Another thing I've heard for a deterrent of seeing this movie is, and I shit you not, why are they trying to replace Captain America? And I don't know how many of you know this, but like,
John Walker, first person in American history to receive 3 Medals of Honor, ran RS-1 missions in counterterrorism and hostage rescue. The government did a study of your body at MIT, and you tested off the charts in every measurable category: speed, endurance, intelligence.
Look, here's the thing. I'm not Tony Stark. I'm not Dr. Banner. Okay, I don't have the flashiest gadgets. I don't have super strength. But what I do have is guts.
that's the entire opposite of John Walker's character. We already went through his origin, but I really feel like the statement is the product of simply deadass not being educated on the character. Like I said a little while earlier, some of these characters, most notably in terms of John Walker and Yelena, they are simply unfairly or miscriticized due to the lack of the knowledge on who they are. Another major problem of this is that of the general public. When it comes to the general people's perspective or perception of a superhero movie, or a Marvel movie at that, they just think or go, oh, it'll be some lighthearted moments, probably some cheesy seriousness here or there, but at the end of the day, it's just gonna end with a big dumb superhero fight and explosions and shit. You just go to watch the movie because it's become more so like a tradition. It's the yearly thing that everyone does at this point. You go watch it for enjoyment, not for the legitimate story or like the character depth. You just go watch these movies and you expect charismatic characters, a little drama here or there, and then to top it all off, a big dumb action scene because it's a superhero movie. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start with the actual meat of why I think this movie is so fucking good. First of all, we need to get into the characters because everything else, like writing and stuff, like that goes hand in hand with the characters. The first 2 characters I want to specifically focus on though is Yelena and Bob. I've seen a lot of people compare, or more rather say that Yelena is just the second coming of Black Widow. She's Black Widow Part 2, or she's Natasha's replacement, if you will. And can I just say,
nigga, no.
Because you see, Scarlett Johansson has gotten it pretty fucking rough when it comes to these fucking Marvel movies.
Lexi, my boyfriend Lexi, like all of men like it. So how does it? Yes. Yeah. How does it feel being this?
I finally got them, all generations.
I love my male audience. I'm always happy to you know, put out films that garner a good response from a strong male audience, you know. But I have to say that it's more flattering to me when I have girls that come up to me and they go, oh, I love that movie.
Scarlett, obviously your character could have easily just been kind of written off as the sexy one of the team. How important is it that
Really? Have you seen Chris Hemsworth?
Likewise, because her character was introduced in the early stages of Marvel, it's kind of just like they didn't know what to do with her, or they didn't really have anything planned out for this lady. It's kind of fucking repulsive, if I'm being honest. To kind of put it into perspective, what I mean is like, she's not a real character. I'll play a clip real quick.
Here's this character, you know, they were trained by every agency on the planet. They were KGB, CIA. She jumps on the roof of a train and then flips off the side, kicks through the window, and then fights 15 guys and then flies into the control booth of the train and derails it. And while it's derailing, she jumps out the window, all in kind of sped up slow motion. That's the strong female character.
It's like she's not a real person for real, basically, because she never says or does anything that tells us about herself personally. If it's not about the plot or some stupid ass Marvel joke or like the Marvel quips that we're used to, she never says anything worth your time as a viewer. Her dialogue is actually shit, and it took the movies literally until Endgame for her to have stakes in the fucking plot.
I used to have nothing. And then I got this job, this family. And I was better because of it.
Which, if you didn't know, that's the same movie she fucking died in. I don't like shitting on the OGs, and I don't like shitting on really like most characters a part of this series, or really just in general. I don't like shitting on things in general. It's just that, what do you expect if you give me a nothing burger of a fucking character? The reason why I say Yelena is a much better character and why she syncs with this plot so well is because of stuff like this.
She closes her eyes, meditating, as her voiceover says, "There's something wrong with me, an emptiness. I thought it started when my sister died. Now it feels like something bigger, just a void."
If I'm not mistaken, that is literally the first few lines of the entire fucking movie, bro. Which not only sets up the symbolic nature of the void itself, it also literally just gives us a look inside of the head of our protagonist before the story begins. Taking this same line and building upon it, right? While they're all trapped in the facility, Bob says something like, maybe you should all just go without me. It would be better for everyone if I just stay put here. Which, even that within itself is a fucking gem of a line. Like, I'm telling y'all, this dialogue is actually peak. And then Yelena says this.
Okay, I understand. We all feel like shit sometimes. And loneliness, I get that. I get it. And that darkness gets pretty enticing. And then it starts to feel a little bit like
a void. What do you do about it?
You shove it way down. You just push it.
Like, tell me this dialogue does not speak to you. Now, maybe that's just me. That's totally fair. But now, let me show you another scene, which is further down the line of the movie. But it basically still pertains to the same substance of this conversation.
What I said to you before was wrong, but you can't stuff it down. You can't hold it in all alone. We have to let it out. We have to spend time together.
Maybe this also is why I like Yelena so much, because it's not just me that she reminds me of. She also reminds me of, like, real fucking people. Like, hell, I literally see my sister in Yelena sometimes.
Daddy, I'm so alone. I don't have anything anymore. All I do is sit and look at my phone and think of all the terrible things that I've done, and then I go to work. And then I drink, and then I come home to no one, and I sit and I think about all the terrible things I've done again and again. And I...
Tell me that isn't fucking powerful, bitch. I understand this might be a personal thing, but like, call it glaze or call it dick sucking, call it bias if you want, but I just simply think that is my fucking shit. That goes for Bob too. He's literally the embodiment of like a regular person. For those who are sad or have depression, or if you experience negative phases throughout your life.
And there are a lot of bad days. And I remember that nothing matters, you know?
You know, me personally, like, bruh. Like, I don't think I have to say anything else. I was gonna make this long ass video. This recording was like 40 minutes long, and like, had I actually put in like full effort, it probably would have actually been like 30 minutes long or some shit, the video itself. Like, I feel like after playing all those lines and shit like that, like, I've said what I needed to say, bro. Just go watch the movie. Like, it's a good fucking movie. And everything else I've said about the Thunderbolts is why I think you should go watch it. It's also why I think the movie just works so well. And yes, this is Marvel's comeback.
Yeah, I told Berettas, I'm in Alpharetta, red marinara, cheese mozzarella, bloodshed vendetta, stepping on whatever, red bandana, run with that blammer. I believe soulless, he not lit, he pose. I've been this, I'm chosen, king shit, you know this. Draw my sword, behold this. That way, bitch, you croaking, forever we rollin'.
Pop shit, but he tellin' a lot. Out of this world, get sent to the sky. Big dog shit, conquer divine. All this pain, I can't cry. Don't trust niggas, son, killing the vibe.